Now on CoastTV News.
President pays his respects. The visit to Dover Air Force Base by Donald Trump for a dignified transfer ceremony of service members killed in the recent war with Iran.
Plus, long neck response boost. We look at the multi-million-dollar project to expand the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company.
School future scrutiny. How the Bryan Allen Stevenson Charter School will attempt to make their case tonight in Georgetown to continue operations.
It's a Monday and we're tracking fog on Delmarva this morning. We are in for a marvelous start to the week as our spring-like warmth continues. How high will the mercury rise? I'll have the answer ahead.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And it is Monday, March 9th, 2026. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
And Grace, we are operating under a dense fog advisory. We do have our Tyler Ridson at the wheel with a first alert weather Jeep. There he is on the road. You can see some of that low-lying fog. This is in the Georgetown area.
It was pretty impressive, Matt, driving to work this morning, specifically in the Georgetown and Milton area. It's like all of a sudden you go through these dense patches that almost just looked like clouds. It was impressive to see.
Yeah, you can see that low-lying fog as we made our way to our Milton studio this morning. So it is a factor out there. Be careful on the roads as you get up and get ready to head out. It's been a trend the last couple of mornings, starting our day tracking foggy conditions.
What are you going to do? We can enjoy the spring as much as we can, but we will turn to First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono for a look into this foggy Monday morning.
Good morning, Grace and Matt. Yeah, we're taking a live look into Ocean City. We've seen that fog develop here over the last hour, and you could see it just very low on the horizon there, not all that high, and you can see the Ferris wheel peaking above that fog. And that fog formed here over the last hour at 45 degrees. Note the dew point 45. Winds are calm, so it's a perfect recipe for that fog. And we're down to about a quarter mile there in Georgetown through Cambridge, and a little dense fog there just to the east of Cambridge through most of Dorchester County. So that's what we're going to be dealing with at least through sunrise, which is right around 7, just after 7 o'clock this morning. We're at 53 in Lewis, 45 in Long Neck, 46 in Georgetown. And we had a lot of clouds earlier last night, but those have cleared out, and with the clear skies, calm winds, and that warmer, slightly muggier air mass across Delmarva, that is helping for that fog to form this morning. You can see the front racing off to the east there as the cloud deck pushes well offshore, and we are in for a mostly sunny day on Delmarva. Very nice, in fact. We're going to be getting up into the lower 70s away from the beaches. It is going to be cooler along the coast here over the next few days as we warm up to near record highs in the days ahead. I'll have details on how long the warmer air is going to stick around in that full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour is Coast TV's continuing coverage of the recommended charter revocation for the Bryan Allen Stevenson School in Georgetown. There's a public hearing regarding the school that's scheduled for tonight.
Coast TV News reporter Elisa Weber is in our newsroom. And Elisa, since December, the school has been under review by the Delaware Department of Education.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. A state committee found that there were problems with the school's finances, enrollment, and how it is managed. According to state officials, the school needs to show enrollment growth as well as written commitments from families if it hopes to remain open. A Department of Education report released in January found the charter school was 85 students below its projected enrollment. School leaders acknowledged that the school's first year was marked by instability, describing it as chaos, and said those issues were addressed by removing prior leadership. The committee also raised concerns about accounting and financial coding issues. School officials attributed those problems to former administrators. Earlier in March, board members voted to reduce fundings for contracted services and increase spending on supplies as a part of those adjustments. School officials also pushed back on a recent state report suggesting the charter school is operating with a deficit, telling board members the school is not in financial trouble. And that public hearing will be held this evening at 5 o'clock at Del Tech in Georgetown. A final decision about the school will be on March 19th. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. And let's level set here and provide some background about Bryan Stevenson. He's a nationally known civil rights attorney. He was born in Milton, and he's best known for founding the Equal justice initiative in Alabama, where he spent decades fighting wrongful convictions and excessive sentencing.
His work is chronicled in the best-selling book Just Mercy, which was later adapted into a major movie featuring Michael B. Jordan.
One of Stevenson's famous quotes is that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done, and that you have to be approximate and up close to something to understand it. The Bryan Allen Stevenson School of Excellence says it's those philosophies and more that are the basis of their mission.
New this morning, updated parking rules in Lewis. According to the agenda today, officials are set to discuss a draft ordinance that would update a section of the town code focused on off-street parking. The ordinance details regulations for how large a parking space should be, the proper markings, and lighting. City leaders could also discuss an ordinance based on home-based businesses. This would be in preparation for a hearing currently set for April 6 at 5:30 p.m. and Lewis officials will gather tonight at 5:30.
Across Delmarva, the Maryland State Fire Marshal will continue investigating a fire in Queen Anne's County that they say was set intentionally. The State Marshal's office says it's happened around 8:30 p.m. Saturday night while people were still in the house. That home is located on Main Street in Chester, Maryland. 10 people are now displaced due to the fire, with damages estimated at over $100,000. And for more information on this fire, you can head to the article on our website, CoastTV.com.
Faster response times are in the future for people in Long Neck. That's according to the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company. The fire company says that it's close to completing a multi-million-dollar construction project set to bring more space for equipment and bunk rooms. CoastTV spoke with one member of the Volunteer Fire Company who says the extra space has many perks.
This expansion project for Indian River Fire Company is to convert our existing fire station from a 2-bay facility into a 4-bay multi-purpose facility, which will give us the ability to house larger apparatus, more efficient apparatus to respond to the area.
Miller says it will be at least another month before construction is finished.
The federal government has awarded $2 million to researchers at the University of Maryland. The funding comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, as the current outbreak, the largest in U.S. history, has infected more than 170 million poultry. The poultry industry has largely rejected bird flu vaccines because many countries do not accept vaccinated chickens. Officials say the vaccine that's developed would not use a live virus, which differs from an already existing bird flu vaccine.
It is at an early stage of development, so we have a candidate vaccine that we have shown induces good immune responses. So we are quite confident that we will be able to make a successful product. As far as a timescale, I can't speak to that directly.
And the Delmarva Chicken Association tells us it agrees with the National Chicken Council that a bird flu vaccine will not have their stamp of approval unless there are export market protections.
This is video now from over the weekend at the Dover Air Force Base. President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania, and Vice President J.D. Vance observing the dignified transfer of, at the time, 6 U.S. service members that have been killed. Unfortunately, that number is now at 7.
And we're now taking a live look at Iran. The war with Israel continues with more strikes this week. As you can see on your screen, we were tracking this shot earlier, and there was a smoke coming from that area a little bit earlier, but it doesn't look like we have any right now. And this just in, tensions are escalating after the announcement of Iran's new supreme leader. According to Iranian officials, the son of the former leader is replacing his father. Reed Binion showing us how top leaders in the United States and Israel are reacting.
Well, I think it is unfortunate. Everyone was waiting to see who would be the next supreme leader. Now we know.
Former CIA Director General David Petraeus weighing in on the implications of Iran's selection of its new supreme leader. Mujtaba Khamenei is the second son of former supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in the U.S. and Israel's opening strikes in the war.
We assume that he will be a continuation of what his father was, which is a very hardline ideological cleric.
President Donald Trump has said he would view Mujtaba Khamenei's elevation to supreme leader as, quote, unacceptable. Amid continuing strikes on Iran, Israel vowed Sunday to target whoever succeeded the late Ayatollah. Iran also continuing its strikes on Israel and other targets in the Middle East. Meanwhile, U.S. officials announced the death of another U.S. service member in the war. U.S. Central Command says the service member died from severe injuries received during Iran's initial attacks across the Middle East. This is the 7th U.S. service member killed in action during Operation Epic Fury. The announcement came just one day after the dignified transfer of the remains of the 6 other troops killed in the first days of the war with Iran. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Happening today back here at home, if you live in Ocean City and your utility provider is Delmarva Power, you may want to listen up. The town says 22nd Street will not have power from around 8 a.m. this morning until 2 p.m. They don't say the reason, but typically planned outages are due to maintenance and improvements.
Also happening today in Ocean City, possible to-go alcoholic beverages. According to the agenda for today's council meeting, they are looking at Maryland House Bill 1101 and Senate Bill 846. The legislation would create a permit allowing certain businesses in Worcester County to temporarily sell alcoholic drinks to go during special events. Officials say businesses must already hold a Class C license and can apply for a per diem license. These bills are still in committee in the General Assembly.
And we're just getting started on this hour of CoastTV News today.
Yeah, coming up, St. Patrick's Day festivities. Look at some of the events over the weekend and what you still have to look forward to.
Also, Delaware pothole problem. When DelDOT officials say work to fix the road dangers could begin.
Grandpa Mac restaurant in Rehoboth Beach is closing. How the owners say the business will continue in a different form.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. We kick off a new week and a warm start to this week on Delmarva as we take a live look into Dover. 45 degrees there. Not much in the way of fog there. Most of the fog we're seeing is across Dorchester County through Sussex, along the coast down through Wallops Island, where visibilities are around a quarter mile or less. Now, the cloud deck that we had yesterday has now shifted well offshore. Skies are clear and temperatures are generally in the mid to upper 40s. We're at 47 Cambridge, 46 in Georgetown, milder at the beach, 50 Bethany, and even milder down through portions of Worcester and Accomack counties. So we begin the day in the mid to upper 40s with that thin layer of fog across the area. By the afternoon, 72 degrees. A little cooler at the beaches, so keep that in mind, where temperatures are only going to be in the 50s and 60s. I'll have details on potential record-setting warmth in the days ahead.
Thank you, Chris. Cape Henlopen State Parks have reopened 2 trails following a temporary closure due to debris and snow from that winter storm we had. Junction Breakwater and Gordon's Pond trails will both reopen.
Grandpa Mac, that's the popular local restaurant on Coastal Highway in Rehoboth Beach, is closing their doors after a decade. The owners say after announcing the closure, the community showed up in a big way over the last few days. And in a Facebook post, Grandpa Mac announced its new food truck location is at the American Classic Golf Club in Lewis.
We're tracking fog this morning, some mild temperatures to start in the 40s and the 50s, and we are in for a warm afternoon, and that kicks off, well, a really nice start to the week. I'll have details on how long the warm weather sticks around. Full forecast next.
Time is 5:17, and you are looking live at Ocean City on this Monday morning, and we have First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono back with us. And Chris, once we get through this patchy fog that we're experiencing this morning, we got a really nice day coming up.
We do. The sun is going to burn this fog off pretty quickly as the sun rises here just after 7 o'clock. We lost an hour of sleep over the weekend. We had a little sun there on Saturday, a lot of clouds on Sunday. And the warmer temperatures rolled in over the weekend as well. And you can see that fog very low on the horizon there. 47 right now in Salisbury. You can see that fog rather dense in some spots, especially away from the water there through Dorchester County, in through portions of Sussex, all the way down the coast from Ocean City down through Wallops Island. And we do have that dense fog advisory up for Kent, Sussex, as parts of Caroline County through 10 o'clock this morning. The dense marine fog advisory they have up through about 6 of this evening, and then you can see that fog advisory extending in through Somerset, Wycomico, Worcester, Accomack counties, and Dorchester counties through about 10 a.m. Quite mild out there. We're at 50 Indian River Inlet, 48 Ocean Pines, 47 in Georgetown. Winds are relatively calm across the area. Skies are clear. That cloud deck from the front pushing well offshore. We got spared any shower activity, and we're going to be pretty dry here over the next few days as high pressure builds in and really sets the stage for quite a warm up here. We're going to be soaring back into the 70s here to near 80, some spots away from the beaches. Today, we're at 72, Salisbury, 72 in Seaford, but note, cooler at the beaches, 52 in Smith Island, 56 Bethany Beach, and 59 in Ocean City. So we're going to see mostly sunny skies through the afternoon today. As we go into the overnight, we'll do it all again tomorrow morning with some patchy fog across the area. We'll dip in the upper 40s, lower 50s at the beaches, and then by tomorrow afternoon, look at this, upper 70s to near 80 across the 13 corridor there. Again, cooler at the beaches with that southerly wind coming off the cooler ocean, and then we'll wake up to some morning fog there on Wednesday. So foggy starts for our next few mornings here across Chincoteague and Assateague. We do see rain chances ramp up into Thursday. That's associated with a cold front, but really staying dry but cooler. We're not going to see any 80-degree temperatures in Ocean City and Fenwick Island, but needless to say, it's going to be a nice afternoon, especially as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday after a few foggy starts, 2-hour days, and then we do turn a bit unsettled as we go into Thursday as a front comes through. And with this front, it's just going to be all about timing. Some of the models have the front coming in Wednesday night. This particular model has it coming in Thursday, where we see our warmer temperatures in the morning Thursday, and then those temperatures will fall, but we are looking at a much cooler end to the week. 62 into Thursday with a chance of showers and even a rumble of thunder possible there. Friday, we're back down to 50 degrees, and then we start the weekend pretty seasonable with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s.
Thank you, Chris. We are now checking in again on. We have our Tyler Ritson at the wheel of our first alert weather Jeep, and you can see these patches of fog as he is driving, specifically under those street lamps. You just want to make sure that you are using extra caution as you are making your way out this morning. Take your time and drive carefully.
And as we ramp up for the spring season, we're starting to deal with the remnants of winter on our roads, specifically potholes. They're created from the extreme cold and snow, and that means your car can suffer the consequences from a rough road.
Usually you'll feel shaking either in the seat or in the steering wheel. If it's in the seat, it's generally a rear tire. If it's in the steering wheel, it's generally in a front tire.
The report of condition is a tool that's available on our Del.app. It's also on our website. Again, we even have a button you can click for a pothole, and you can tell us exactly where that is.
McLeod says pothole repairs kick in this month.
And up next on Coast TV News today, St. Patrick's Day festivities. A look at how Milton celebrated the holiday over the weekend and what's to come. We'll be right back. Leprechauns, music, and streets filled with green. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us all of the fun from this year's St. Patrick's Day parade in Milton.
The 18th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade took place in Milton, bringing custom-made floats, food and drinks, marching bands, and plenty of festive spirit.
Happy St. Patrick's Day! I love the marching bands, and the bagpipes are my favorite.
Diane McMahon lives in Milton and never misses the opportunity to watch the parade.
I think it's wonderful. Children are here. It's a family event. It's also for everyone. It's the best town ever.
According to McMahon, she's noticing more and more people taking part in the parade, which is good news for Milton, as the parade raises funds for the fire department and Chamber of Commerce.
It's definitely a moneymaker.
Ben Carlson dressed up for the big day and loves everything about the parade, especially seeing the community come together.
It's the people, mostly, the music, the drinks. St. Patrick's Day is my favorite one. Yeah. Happy St. Patrick's Day!
If you missed this year's St. Patrick's Day parade here in Milton, don't worry, because there's more celebrations happening across Delmarva. I'm Kevin Zappe in Milton, Coast TV News.
That's a good handoff from Kevin, because we have some of those festivities. Ocean City, the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade begins at noon Saturday along Coastal Highway with an Irish festival at 45th Street starting at 11 a.m. And in Dewey Beach, the Starbird celebrates St. Patrick's Day during its opening weekend, March 13th through the 16th, with live music and events each day.
A thin veil of fog, very low to the surface, has formed here over the last hour in Ocean City, where the temperature is 47 degrees. Winds are calm, and I want to stress we are going to be warming up over the next few days, but it is going to be cooler at the beaches. Highs only in the low 50s from Ocean City, mid 50s into Fenwick Island as we make our way up into Lewis and Rehoboth. Highs generally in the upper 50s to lower 60s, with mostly sunny skies developing through the afternoon. Cambridge, we start off foggy. Plenty of sunshine through the afternoon, warmer there, upper 60s, and through Crisfield, lower 60s, with that wind coming off the cooler bay. Congratulations to Bob Castellana of Georgetown, Delaware, on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. Coming up, we will talk about even warmer temperatures in the days ahead. We'll have more news after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
Dover dignified transfer. President Trump at the Air Force Base this weekend to pay his respects to the service members killed in the war with Iran.
Plus, school future scrutiny. How the Bryan Allen Stevenson Charter School will attempt to make their case tonight in Georgetown to continue operations.
It's a Monday and we're tracking fog on Delmarva this morning. We are in for a marvelous start to the week as our spring-like warmth continues. How high will the mercury rise? I'll have the answer ahead.
An OC planned power outage, the area in the town that is scheduled to be out for several hours today.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It is March 9th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us today.
And we're dealing with another fog advisory. It is a dense fog advisory in effect for our area. We have our Tyler Ridson on the roads right now, and he is in the Milton area. Gravel Hill Road. This is between Sand Hill Road and Neptune Road. Now, this isn't a fog-related situation. Well, he's actually on the road there. Let's see if we can get an idea where he is. But we did have reports, this came from DelDOT around midnight, that there is a road closure between Gravel Hill Road and Sand Hill Road and Neptune Road. That was due to a clash, and that's what we're seeing right now is the remnants from that. We are being told that's a DelDOT truck that's blocking the roadway there. Again, Grace, that was because of a crash that took place that was reported by DelDOT just after midnight tonight, or this morning.
That's right, Matt. And if you are going to be traveling or commuting in the area this morning, just make sure that you take extra caution if you are in this area and if you are traveling anywhere that is under that dense fog advisory.
All right, 5:31 a.m. We also just received word that because of the foggy conditions that Wycomico County schools are operating under a 90-minute delay this morning. A lot going on here.
It must be nice to get a little sleep in. If it's a Monday and you're a student, maybe you stayed up too late on Sunday night, having too much fun. You get 90 minutes.
Is that
delay.
what you did as a student on a
Maybe
Sunday?
finish up my homework in the morning as long as you
were
get it done.
a good student.
Well, who knows? But turning down to first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono. Chris, I know you got all A's in your weather classes.
Oh, I would have loved being a kid on Delmarva. We had all these snow days this winter, some delays for the fog, right? And we're tracking that fog this morning across the area. 47 right now in Salisbury. And the fog is primarily on the southern end of the peninsula. The further north you go, visibility does improve, but you could see we're down to a quarter mile there across portions of Dorchester County. And then we've seen that fog over the last hour start to develop along the coast through Ocean City southward. We're at 46 in Rehoboth, 45 Milton, 47 in Delmar. Winds are calm across the area as skies have cleared overnight after the cloudy Sunday we had on Delmarva, but still temperatures still got up into the upper 60s to low 70s across the peninsula, even with the cloud cover. But as the clouds pushed offshore, that fog developed across the area this morning. So once that fog burns off rather quickly, we are going to see plenty of sunshine. Temperatures getting into the lower 70s, cooler at the beaches where we're only going to have highs in the 50s and 60s. We'll talk about highs nearing 80 over the next few days, and then comes a late week cool down. We'll talk more about that in that full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this half hour, a public hearing will be held this evening regarding the Bryan Allen Stevenson School of Excellence in Georgetown.
And Coast TV's Elisa Weber is in our newsroom, and since December, the school's been under review by the Delaware Department of Education. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. The state committee says that it found problems with the school's finances, enrollment, and how the school is managed. According to state officials, the school needs to show proof of enrollment that is growing, and they also need written comments from families if it hopes to remain open. A Department of Education report released in January found the charter school was 85 students below its projected enrollment. School leaders acknowledged that the school's first year was marked by instability, describing it as chaos, and said those issues were addressed by removing prior leadership. The committee also raised concerns about accounting and financial coding issues. School officials attributed those problems to former administrators. Earlier in March, board members voted to reduce funding for contracted services and increase spending on supplies as a part of those adjustments. School officials also pushed back on a recent state report suggesting the charter school was operating with a deficit, telling board members the school is not in financial trouble. We spoke with the school's lead educator who said charter schools often take 3 to 5 years to become established, and they're only 2 years old.
Of our commitment to remaining as a small school, our goal is to, once we are fully enrolled, to have only 100 students in each grade, was to continue that, right? We know our families. We know our students' stories. We know what makes them different, and we know how to help support them to be their best selves and to receive the best education that they all deserve. And that is not something you can get at a typical larger public school.
And that public hearing will be held this evening at 5 o'clock at Delaware Tech in Georgetown. A final decision about the school will be made on March 19th. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Now let's level set here and provide some background about Bryan Stevenson. He is a nationally known civil rights attorney who was born in Milton. He's best known for founding the Equal Justice Initiative in Alabama, where he spent decades fighting wrongful convictions and excessive sentencing.
Yeah, and this work is chronicled in the best-selling book Just Mercy, which was later adapted into a movie featuring Michael B. Jordan.
And one of Stevenson's famous quotes is that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done, and that you have to be proximate and up close to something to understand it. The Bryan Allen Stevenson School of Excellence says it hopes that those philosophies and more are part of their basis of their mission.
They are looking at updating parking rules in Lewis. Today, the City Council is reviewing a draft ordinance that would update a section of town code that's focused on off-street parking. This ordinance details regulations for how large a parking space should be, the proper markings, and lighting. Council could also discuss an ordinance on home-based businesses, and this is in preparation for a hearing currently set for April 6th at 5:30 p.m. This council meeting today is at 5:30.
Also happening today in Ocean City, possible to-go alcoholic beverages in Ocean City. That's according to the agenda for today's Town Council meeting. Maryland House Bill 1101 and Senate Bill 846. The legislation would create a permit to allow certain businesses in Worcester County temporarily selling alcoholic drinks to go during special events. Officials say the businesses must already hold a Class C license and can apply for a per diem license. These bills are still in the committee.
Happening today, we have a heads up for you. If you live in Ocean City and your utility provider is Delmarva Power, town says 22nd Street will not have power from around 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. That's today, March 9th. They don't say what the reason is, but typically planned outages, that's due to maintenance and improvements.
We're showing you video now from over the weekend at the Dover Air Force Base. President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania, and Vice President J.D. Vance observed the dignified transfer of, at the time, 6 U.S. service members that have been killed, and unfortunately, that number is now 7.
And this just in, tensions are escalating after the announcement of Iran's new supreme leader. According to Iranian officials, it's the son of the former leader who's replacing his father.
Reed Binion showing us how top leaders in both the U.S. and Israel are reacting.
Well, I think it is unfortunate. Everyone was waiting to see who would be the next supreme leader. Now we know.
Former CIA Director General David Petraeus weighing in on the implications of Iran's selection of its new supreme leader. Mujtaba Khamenei is the second son of former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in the U.S. and Israel's opening strikes in the war.
We assume that he will be a continuation of what his father was, which is a very hardline ideological cleric.
President Donald Trump has said he would view Mujtaba Khamenei's elevation to Supreme Leader as, quote, unacceptable. Amid continuing strikes on Iran, Israel vowed Sunday to target whoever succeeded the late Ayatollah. Iran also continuing its strikes on Israel and other targets in the Middle East. Meanwhile, U.S. officials announced the death of another U.S. service member in the war. U.S. Central Command says the service member died from severe injuries received during Iran's initial attacks across the Middle East. This is the 7th U.S. service member killed in action during Operation Epic Fury. The announcement came just one day after the dignified transfer of the remains of the 6 other troops killed in the first days of the war with Iran. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
New overnight on Sunday, national leaders and local organizations honoring Jesse Jackson's lifetime advocacy for voting rights and social justice. Over the years, Jackson maintained a strong connection to the Selma and legacy of voting rights movements, and frequently he would return for Jubilee events and commemorations tied to the historical struggle for equality. His youngest son, Yusef Jackson, who now helps lead the Rainbow Push Coalition, addressed the crowd, speaking about carrying forward his father's mission and continuing the fight for justice for future generations.
Jesse Jackson worked to move us from racial battlegrounds to economic common ground and on to moral higher ground. He believed that leveling the economic playing field could generate economic power and create a society where every child could reach their God-given potential. Yes. We have come far, but much work remains.
This took place during Selma's annual Bridge Crossing Jubilee. Maryland Governor Wes Moore participated in some of those activities, including the Martin and Coretta King United Breakfast and Edmund Pettus Bridge in remembrance of Bloody Sunday.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Seaford shoreline property, how leaders say the development will benefit those living there.
Also, slumping Sixers, Philly has fallen out of the playoff round in the standings, and why tonight's game in Cleveland presents an extra challenge.
It's another morning on Delmarva where we're tracking fog as we take a live look into Salisbury, at least not too dense from this vantage point. We're at 47 degrees and you can see the visibility starting to improve a bit through Sussex, and that fog continues through portions of Dorchester County down through Somerset and Worcester counties, and we really saw that fog develop here over the last hour along the coast. Now, we had a lot of clouds yesterday. Those have since pushed offshore. We're at 47 in Bethany Beach, 45 in Georgetown to 46 in Cambridge. So if you're along the beaches today, it's going to be cool. Temperatures are going to be generally in the 50s. Inland, we're going to be in the lower 70s to upper 60s to lower 70s under mostly sunny skies. We'll talk about the warmth continuing and when our next chance of showers and storms rolls back into the picture.
New this morning, a road closure will impact drivers in Seaford. According to this city, the area that's on your screen now, Toll Road between Atlanta and Laurel Lane, will be closed starting today. Officials say it is set to last until Wednesday, March 11th, and this is for stormwater work connected to the Seaford Innovation Center project. And the closure is in effect from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. And Seaford boosting its real estate value, and it comes with a waterfront view. This piece of property along the Nanticoke River will help expand the Oyster House Park, housing the Nanticoke Watershed Alliance's offices. The land was bought by the Alliance and the Chesapeake Conservancy and the city of Seaford as well. Leaders say that the partnership will benefit all three organizations as well as people living in Seaford. U.S. lawmakers from Virginia are advocating for protection of the Chincoteague Inlet from further erosion. Congresswoman Jen Kiggins and Senator Tim Kaine recently sent letters urging the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to fund a long-awaited feasibility study of the inlet. The study must be completed before any intervention can happen, but officials say the wait is costing Chincoteague some precious time and land. The letter sent to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers proposed two timelines, one that would see funds secured for the study in fiscal year 2026, and the other, if that cannot happen, is in the president's budget for fiscal year 27.
Tonight in Cleveland, the 76ers will play their 64th game of this season, meaning just 18 games is all that remains. And as of now, the Sixers are in the play-in round part of the NBA standings. Philly has lost 6 of their last 10 and 3 of their last 4. It puts them in this precarious situation. And to make matters worse, star guard Tyrese Maxey injured his right hand in the Saturday night loss against the Hawks. An X-ray was reported to be inconclusive, and we'll see if Maxey's back in the lineup tonight. Now, last night in New Orleans, Trae Young scored 17 points in his second game with Washington. They were down only 2 at the break. Second half, it was all Pelicans. Washington loses 138-118, and if you are scoring at home, and maybe a few of you are, it's an 8-game losing streak for Washington. Ryan Blaney becomes the first driver of this NASCAR season not named Tyler Reddick to win a race. Blaney leads the final 10 laps to claim the 18th victory of his career at Phoenix. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, your game of the night, it's Stellar Fights 72 at 7 p.m., and then you can catch the final score at 10:30.
And it's Oscars week. The 98th Academy Awards are on Sunday. David Daniel looks at current Oscar trends and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
This world is intricately stitched together, boys. Every thread we pull, we know not how it affects the design of things.
The Academy Awards have gotten more international in recent years. One of Train Dream's 4 nominations is for its Brazilian cinematographer, Adolfo Veloso. Meanwhile, Brazil's The Secret Agent also has 4 nominations, including Best Picture and Best International Feature, an award won last year by another Brazilian film, I'm Still Here.
In this moment we're living, I feel like it's amazing to represent not only Brazil, but Latin America, to represent all the immigrants in a very delicate moment. And I feel like this only shows how people all over the world are amazing, and we should be hearing everybody, and we should be paying attention to all those voices.
Of course, it was our friendship. Hillel had the key that made Flea and Anthony sound the best they could be.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers' first guitarist, Hillel Slovak, gets his due in The Rise of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Our Brother Hillel. The documentary looks at how a childhood friend helped shape the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer's sound. The film debuts March 20th on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get a weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
As the fog burns off this morning, we're looking at a mostly sunny day, a warm one at that. In many inland areas getting to near 70, and we're going to be pushing to near record highs Tuesday and Wednesday. Your full 7-day forecast is up next.
All right, we've been talking about the fog, that patchy fog on a lot of our back roads all this morning, and we are checking in once again on some of the road conditions. All right, we have our Tyler Ridson out in the first alert weather, Jeep Grace, and this is the Milton-Ellendale Highway in the middle part of Sussex County.
And what's interesting about driving in the fog, specifically in the Milton area, was that it was very, I don't want to say it was cloudy, because that sounds silly to say, but sometimes it would be clear and sometimes you could see the literal outline of these fog patches. It was very interesting. So if you are heading out early this morning, just take extra caution, maybe give yourself a few extra minutes to get to your destinations. And Chris, we're waking up to another foggy morning. I feel like we said this every day last week. The time is now 5:51 a.m. And Chris, tomorrow, anything? Are we going to get a break from this fog, or is it just here to stay?
Well, we're going to continue to see these foggy mornings. We have a warmer, muggier air mass rolling over the area, and the water, the ocean, the bay still very cold. And the fog we're seeing this morning is more of the radiational fog variety, where we have clear skies. The skies have cleared, and we get the cooler temperatures at the surface with that warmer air above it. And you can see pretty cool here the way it looks. See the Ferris wheel peaking above the fog, so it's a very thin veil of fog in Ocean City. We're at 47 right now, and that fog is primarily across our southern areas at the moment. The further north you go, the visibilities are going to be improving. But again, you may be driving, it gets very dense, and then it clears out, and that's kind of the way the fog we're seeing across the area this morning. But that dense fog advisory continues for all of Kent and Sussex County through about 10 this morning. We do have that dense marine fog advisory up through 6, and then the dense fog advisory for all our southern counties is up through 10 o'clock this morning. We're at 47, Rehoboth, 44, Milton, 46 in Georgetown. Winds are calm, skies are clear, and that's a perfect recipe for that fog to form across the area. The clouds we had over the weekend are now shifting offshore. High pressure is building in across the area. Now, we typically see our first 70 degree in Georgetown around the 13th of February, so we're a little behind schedule. Now, we were close to 70 over the weekend, at least in Georgetown. Last time we officially hit 70 in Georgetown was the 8th, and look at the latest we've seen it was back in for the 14th of April, so we can go a long time. We're going to see 70 today in Georgetown, 72. We hit 70 in Salisbury yesterday, but again, cooler at the beaches, 54 Lewis, 59 in Ocean City, 52 in Smith Island. So once that fog burns away, mostly sunny skies develop as we go into Tuesday morning, expecting another round of fog to develop by the afternoon. Look at this. Upper 70s to near 80s, again, away from the beaches as we hold in the 50s and 60s near that colder ocean. As we go over the next 3 days, wall-to-wall sunshine from Tuesday, Wednesday, we will likely challenge, if not break, record highs in Georgetown and Salisbury over the next 2 days, and then we turn unsettled as we go into Thursday, and that's thanks to a cold front that's going to be pushing through, giving us a chance of rain and even a few rumbles of thunder. Behind that front, we do turn much cooler. We go from 62 into Thursday down to 50 into Friday. A sunny, dry day. Right now, the weekend looking pretty nice, seasonable Saturday, and we bump it back up into the upper 60s on Sunday.
Upper 60s sound nice, Chris. Well, if you are looking at 302-day celebrations at the Dogfish Head Brewery in Milton over the weekend, people and their four-legged friends from all over gathered to play cornhole. Matt, I don't think you brought your cats there, did you?
I didn't. I was there. I had a good time, but I did not bring the cats.
They enjoyed foods and drinks from local vendors and organizations. Say that people who showed up said it was sunshine once those clouds cleared out. Organizers say they were able to raise $7,000 for the Delaware State Parks from event fundraising. And speaking of four-legged friends, time is now 5:54 a.m. as we're checking in with our very handsome Coastal Pet of the Day.
Yeah, today's Coastal Pet of the Day is a very young pup who loves to play. On your screen, that is 12-week-old Damaris. And Damaris loves to play in the snow and carry sticks around the yard. We're having a good string of white dogs last couple of days, Grace.
That is true. And I wonder if Damaris ever gets lost in the snow. He's like sparkly white. It'd be hard to find him there.
Well, Damaris was submitted to us by Allison in Oak Orchard.
We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos. Tell us what makes them so special to you. If you take a look at your screen now.
Yeah, on your screen is that QR code. Scan that. That allows you to get a picture of your friend to us and then watch weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
That fog will burn off here just after sunset. Temperatures getting into the lower 70s under mostly sunny skies, cooler at the beaches, and you could always call our CoastTV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. Now, your 10-day shows near record-setting warmth Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, it's going to be cooler along the coast due to that colder ocean. Cold front pushes through Thursday, giving us a chance of rain and even a rumble of thunder. And then we do turn much cooler into Friday. The weekend right now looking pretty decent. We will see seasonable temperatures in through Saturday. And then, look at St. Patty's Day. That's not good. 39 degrees with a chance of rain and snow. Ugh. Yeah.
Ugh.
Just like the All right, coming up in our next hour, charter school public hearing. We look at how the Bryan Allen Stevenson School of Excellence in Georgetown is attempting to make its case to remain open after financial and enrollment issues. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.